October 3rd, 2025. A date that will echo through history. While the world went about its ordinary business, a single machine on a distant world captured something extraordinary. NASA's Perseverance rover, quietly gazing into the Martian sky, recorded a stack of 20 frames. Nothing seemed unusual until analysts spotted it. A faint, almost invisible smudge. And yet, it was exactly where an interstellar visitor, known only as 3I/Atlas, was predicted to appear. At first, it looked meaningless, a blur lost in cosmic noise. But then, as the data reached Earth, the unthinkable happened. 15,000 NASA scientists, furloughed. Every official feed silent. Every public image pipeline shut down. Just when the world demanded answers, the voices of science went dark. The timing was too perfect to ignore. Whispers began to spread online. Was something being hidden? A strange object near Mars? Detected, then silenced. A shape that shouldn't exist, a geometry that defied physics. It started as a whisper, but became a roar. Forums, discords, and live streams exploded with speculation. Some called it a comet. Others said it was a vessel. And within hours, a simple smudge became a digital wildfire. Because this wasn't just another mystery from space. This was an event that cracked open humanity's greatest question. Are we alone? And this time, the silence felt deliberate. No one realized it yet, but that faint smear across the Martian sky would ignite one of the most controversial investigations in scientific history. A chain reaction of revelations, cover-ups, and cosmic riddles that would change how we see the universe, forever. It began with a single frame, a faint blur frozen in time, captured millions of kilometers away. But when that image surfaced online, it didn't just spread, it detonated. Within hours, thousands of citizen astronomers pounced on the data. They overlaid star charts, matched trajectories, and compared it against Atlas's predicted path across the Martian sky. The alignment was too perfect. It shouldn't have been possible, but there it was. And then came the moment that changed everything. Someone circled it, drew a red oval, wrote one word beneath it, cylinder. That single post ignited a digital wildfire. Soon, every corner of the internet was ablaze with theories. To some, it looked like a spacecraft. To others, a monolith, a cosmic relic. A few claimed it was a signal, a message, proof. Each repost magnified the myth. Each filter revealed something new. Some swore they saw metallic reflections. Others traced markings, inscriptions, shadows that seemed too symmetrical to be natural. The more people looked, the less it resembled a comet. And the more it resembled something built. Amateur analysts compared the Perseverance data with images of known comets, but nothing matched. The shape was too straight, too deliberate, too engineered. As the frenzy grew, facts blurred into faith. On forums, enthusiasts built 3D models. In Discord servers, debates raged deep into the night. Was this a trick of light? A cosmic coincidence? Or the first glimpse of something humanity was never meant to find? In a matter of days, the question transformed from, "What is it?" to something far more dangerous. Why would they hide it? The deeper the internet looked, the stranger it became. As millions dissected the smudge, a far bigger mystery emerged, the silence. Where were the orbiters? Mars is surrounded by high-resolution cameras, each capable of capturing images in stunning detail. Yet suddenly, nothing. Not a single new photo. Not one official statement. The only view the world had came from a ground rover, and even that feed went dark. Questions piled up faster than answers. Why was a billion-dollar agency mute at the moment humanity may have glimpsed something extraordinary? Theories multiplied. Some said the data was classified. Others whispered that the imagery revealed something our science couldn't explain. A design, a pattern, a shape that screamed intent. And in that vacuum of truth, belief filled the void. Social media became the new control room of discovery. Space enthusiasts, skeptics, and conspiracy hunters united under one obsession, 3I/Atlas. Each unanswered question became another spark. Each silence, another confirmation. The mystery was no longer confined to astronomy. It was now global. By the third day, the object had outgrown science. It was now a symbol of doubt, of wonder, of everything humanity suspects but cannot prove. And just when the frenzy reached its peak, something surfaced from months before the discovery. A set of sealed documents, coordinates, transcripts from a remote viewing experiment that seemed to describe something eerily familiar. A pulsing core, a hidden device, a mask of ice concealing technology. The overlap was too specific, too perfect. Has someone already seen this long before NASA did? The internet was no longer asking what 3I/Atlas was. It was now asking who already knew. August, weeks before the world ever heard the name 3I/Atlas. A small team sat in silence around a sealed envelope. Inside, a set of coordinates. No one knew what they pointed to. No one was told. And yet, what these remote viewers described would echo across the internet months later with haunting precision. They spoke of a device, no larger than a thumb drive, buried deep inside a mass of ice. A heartbeat pulsing from within. Regular, measured, artificial. Over multiple sessions, each participant saw the same thing. Something alive beneath the frozen shell. Something masked. They described what they called graffiti. Symbols etched across the surface, shapes carved into ice, markings that hid a deeper pattern. At the time, it sounded like fiction, imagination. But when perseverance captured that smudge, and internet sleuths claimed to see markings, reflections, geometry, the parallels were undeniable. And yet, the timeline didn't make sense. These sessions were dated before Atlas even appeared in NASA's tracking logs. Had they somehow tapped into something real? Or had someone else known about this object long before its discovery? Skeptics rushed to dismiss it. Remote viewing isn't recognized as science. It has no equations, no data, no control. But this time, the descriptions matched the mystery too precisely to ignore. Even veteran astronomers began to admit the coincidences were stacking up. And as that realization spread, one truth became clear. If these visions were genuine, then Atlas wasn't just a comet. It was a message, a signal wrapped in ice waiting to be seen. October 1st, 2025. Just as the world demanded clarity, NASA, the voice of truth among the stars, went dark. Over 15,000 scientists, engineers, and analysts were suddenly furloughed. Screens went blank. Terminals logged out. The steady hum of data slowed to a whisper. Only a handful of mission-critical teams remained, enough to keep the ISS alive, enough to keep Artemis breathing. But Mars? Mars went silent. The timing couldn't have been worse. Atlas was passing through its critical observation window, and yet the very people responsible for decoding its signals were gone. Raw data still flowed in, from orbiters, from Perseverance, from the Deep Space Network, but without human eyes it was just noise. Telemetry piled up in archives, waiting for a team that wasn't there. Automated scripts did their best, but machines can't interpret the unknown. They only follow orders. And so, a strange vacuum formed, a gap between what was seen and what was known. Europe's ESA confirmed their own observations had succeeded, but they, too, withheld public release. The official explanation? Cross-agency verification. The unofficial suspicion? Containment. Because what the data showed couldn't easily be dismissed as a glitch. Not anymore. And into that darkness stepped one voice, Avi Lobo, a maverick astrophysicist turned truth hunter. He went live across major networks, demanding the release of every frame, every log, every byte. This isn't just another comet, he warned. If the data contradicts physics, show it. Don't bury it. But NASA didn't respond. No press briefings. No tweets. No leaks. Just silence. Deep, deliberate, and deafening. The kind that says something bigger is being hidden. By now, 3I/Atlas wasn't just a question. It was a challenge to every model, every assumption, every comfort we held about the universe. As scattered data trickled in from observatories worldwide, patterns began to emerge. Patterns that defied everything we thought we knew. Scientists called them the 7 anomalies. The first was mass. Atlas was far heavier than any comet of its size should be. Even as gas vented from its surface, its path barely shifted. It moved like something under control. The second, the coma. In every known comet, dust trails away from the sun. But Atlas's light pointed toward it, as if it were pushing against solar wind instead of yielding to it. That meant one thing: active thrust. The third anomaly was in its chemistry. Spectrographs revealed something never before seen: an abundance of nickel and an absence of iron. In nature, the two are inseparable twins. But not here. Here, nickel dominated, a metallic signature more manufactured than cosmic. Then came the fourth, polarization. Light scattered by Atlas refused to behave like any other comet on record. Its readings bent the rules of reflection itself, producing numbers no catalog could explain. The fifth, its orbit. Atlas followed a near-perfect ecliptic path, threading through Venus, Mars, and Jupiter in a sequence so improbable it bordered on design. The sixth, timing. Each planetary alignment matched conjunctions with eerie precision, as if plotted. And finally, position. Its route passed within 9 degrees of the WOW signal's origin, that one impossible radio burst from 1977. 7 anomalies. 7 impossibilities. And not one had a natural explanation. At first, each anomaly was treated as an error, a glitch in data, a fluke of light. But when all 7 lined up, the odds collapsed. Scientists who built their careers on probability now faced something beyond it. Atlas wasn't following random physics. It was following a path. Astrophysicists ran simulations, millions of them, to explain how a body from interstellar space could weave such a perfect trajectory. None fit. The numbers screamed purpose. The pattern whispered control. Even the skeptics began to falter. Because if the mass was wrong and the chemistry was unnatural and the orbit suspiciously precise, then the chance all 7 could align by accident was virtually zero. Some called it arrogance to even suggest intelligence. Others called it denial to dismiss it. And as the world argued, one date rose above all others: October 29th. That was when Atlas would reach perihelion, its closest sweep to the sun. The point of maximum speed, maximum pressure, maximum truth. For months, rumors, theories, and predictions had circled that date like vultures. Some believed the heat would strip away Atlas's icy disguise, revealing what lay beneath. Others warned it might ignite or transmit. All eyes turned skyward. NASA is still silent. USA waiting. China watching. Citizen astronomers armed with telescopes and live streams counting down the days. If there was ever a moment to confirm the impossible, this was it. Because when Atlas crossed the sun's burning edge, every anomaly, every theory, every doubt would be tested in the fire. And when the truth finally came, it would either shatter science or save it. October 29th, the day of reckoning. The day when theories either turned to ash or truth. As 3I/Atlas swept toward its perihelion, every telescope on Earth, every orbiter in Mars's sky, every spectrometer in the void turned toward one singular point in space, a speck now blazing brighter than a star. It raced past the sun at 68 kilometers per second, faster than anything we had ever tracked. And in that moment, humanity stood still, because if there was anything hidden beneath that icy veil, the sun would expose it. But the test didn't end with the pass. Just days later, the JUICE spacecraft, orbiting deep beyond Earth, began its special observation window. For 3 relentless weeks, its instruments scanned the aftermath, looking for anything unnatural: a sudden outburst, a fragment trail, a flash of thrust, a transmission. For the first time, Europe, America, and independent observatories worked in silent sync, united by the need to know. Because this wasn't just about one comet anymore. It was about the line between nature and intention, between creation and design. In early December, as the sun's glare faded, Earth-based telescopes prepared for reacquisition. If Atlas was still intact, still accelerating, still following its impossible path, the world would see it again. David Finocchia of JPL called it the verdict window. The data from December, he said, would either confirm a natural anomaly or prove humanity had just witnessed the first engineered object from another star. The countdown had begun, and this time no silence could stop it. By December, one truth had become undeniable. If 3I/Atlas was transmitting, it was doing so with power no natural object could ever possess. Peer-reviewed SETI teams began running the math, not speculation but raw physics. To replicate a WOW-class radio beacon, the kind once detected in 1977, from the outer edge of our solar system, a transmitter would need to output over a megawatt of power. That's enough to light an entire city, focused into a beam no wider than a planet, and aimed directly at us. Comets don't do that. Asteroids don't do that. Nature does not aim. There are no volcanic vents or chemical reactions capable of sustaining that level of precision. No known process can hold a signal steady across billions of kilometers. The equations left no room for illusion. If the signal existed, it was built. Scientists began to weigh probabilities using Bayesian models. They started with the lowest possible odds, 1 in a million that Atlas could be artificial. But with each new anomaly, mass, chemistry, orbit, light, the numbers began to move. Slowly, reluctantly, but undeniably. Yet even now, caution reigned. SETI veterans warned against multiplying miracles. 7 oddities. They said, don't make intelligence, unless each is real and each stands alone. So the world waited, suspended between awe and denial. The verdict was close, but not yet certain. And as the final data streams drew near, one question consumed every mind, every feed, every screen. If this isn't nature, then who built it and why now? As the world stared outward toward 3I/Atlas, another visitor slipped past us, unseen. On October 2nd, a microasteroid, barely 3 meters across, sliced through the upper edge of Earth's atmosphere over Antarctica. It missed us by 419 kilometers, a cosmic hair's breadth. No warning, no alert, no defense. By the time scientists confirmed it, the rock was already gone. A whisper through the void. If it had struck, it could have unleashed the energy of a small nuclear blast. And yet, not one radar caught it. Not one telescope tracked it. For planetary defense teams, it was a chilling reminder. We are still blind. But as one threat brushed past Earth, another revelation emerged from Mars. And this time, it didn't signal death. It whispered life. Deep within the Bright Angel and Sapphire Canyon regions, the Perseverance rover detected something extraordinary. Organic molecules, tightly bound to vivianite, a mineral known on Earth to preserve ancient biosignatures. For decades, Mars had teased us, hints, maybes, false alarms. But this was different. This overlap between organic chemistry and reactive minerals marked the strongest clue yet that Mars may have once harbored life, or still carries its traces. A paper soon followed, Nature Geoscience, calling it the most promising biosignature candidate ever detected. 2 discoveries. One from beyond the stars, questioning our place in the cosmos. One from our nearest neighbor, questioning our solitude in time. Together, they painted a single truth. The universe is not silent. It's speaking. We just have to decide whether we're ready to listen. While humanity argued about 3I/Atlas and whispered about life on Mars, the sun, silent witness to all our fears, began to stir. It started as a flicker. Then the surface tore open. From the dark scars of coronal holes, solar wind streams surged outward at 700 kilometers per second. Rivers of plasma racing through the void. Within days, minor coronal mass ejections collided with those winds, merging into vast storms that battered Earth's magnetic field. The night sky came alive. Auroras spilled southward, painting skies as far as 40 degrees latitude. Glowing curtains of green and violet light twisting above cities that had never seen them before. But beauty hid danger. Satellites shuddered. Power grids strained. High-frequency communications flickered like dying flames. And as the world stared upward, mesmerized by the colors, few realized. This was the sun's last surge. A final crescendo before solar cycle 25 began to fade. Astronomers warned it might be the last great storm of the decade. a cosmic reminder that for all our technology, all our pride, we still orbit a living furnace. Yet amid the storm, something else caught humanity's eye. A video, grainy, leaked, played once before a congressional hearing. In it, a spherical object drifts above Yemen. A missile strikes and vanishes into it as though swallowed. No explanation, no statement, only silence. The world was starting to connect the dots. Atlas, Mars, the Sun, the object, each event, isolated, impossible, yet perfectly timed. The message was clear. Something vast had begun, and the universe was waking up. As chaos rippled across the Sun and silence cloaked Mars, the night sky above Earth blossomed with green fire. 3 comets, C/2025 B8, Lemon, Swan, and A3 Tuttle, each glowing with the same eerie emerald hue, crossed the heavens together. For the first time in 2 decades, humanity could look up and see 3 visitors sharing the same sky. A trinity of wanderers, painted in cyanogen and carbon's ghostly glow. Their tails shimmered like writing across the dark, a reminder that the universe speaks in light, not words. Observers called it a sign. 3 comets, 3 warnings, 3 witnesses. And while the world looked upward, Earth's engineers reached higher. In Texas, Starship Flight 11 roared to life, its twin engines blazing a path toward history. Booster B-15 executed a flawless landing sequence, while Ship 38, stripped of tiles, deliberately scarred, survived re-entry and relit its engines. A symbol of human resilience. A declaration that even as the cosmos whispered, we were not powerless to answer. China's Tianwen-2 followed suit, outbound toward Comet, a mysterious quasi-satellite some believe to be a fragment of the moon itself. But this mission would not stop there. After collecting samples, it would swing toward 311P, an active asteroid shedding 6 tails, a celestial riddle halfway between rock and comet. For a moment, humanity seemed unstoppable, exploring, building, reaching. But behind every triumph lay the same shadow. Funding cuts, furloughs, silence. NASA's heart still beats, but faintly. 15,000 of its minds were locked out. And in that absence, the future itself began to slip away. October 3, 2025. The day it all began. The day a faint blur across Mars forced humanity to confront the impossible. At 29 million kilometers away, Perseverance captured what no human eye had ever seen. The faint whisper of 3I/Atlas, gliding across the Martian sky. A ghost of light exactly where prediction said it would be. And yet, no orbiters followed. No new frames were released. 15,000 NASA staff, silenced. Every high-resolution lens on Mars waiting. In that silence, 7 anomalies stood like pillars of defiance. A carbon dioxide-rich coma where none should exist. Nickel without iron. A light trail toward the sun, not away. A polarization curve beyond every known comet. A trajectory too perfect for chaos. Timing too precise for chance. And a path that crossed the sky's most haunted coordinate, the origin of the 1977 WOW signal. Each anomaly was a question. Together, they became a verdict. If Atlas was natural, it was the strangest object in recorded history. If it wasn't, then something had entered our solar system, something built. Now, the final data rests in December's window. From JUICE, from Earth's telescopes, from the silence of Mars. And until those images arrive, the truth remains suspended between wonder and dread. Because maybe Atlas isn't a comet at all. Maybe it's a message, a probe, a test. And as our instruments strain for clarity, one truth grows louder than the silence. The universe has noticed us. And now I'm waiting to see what we do next. For centuries, humanity has stared into the night, asking questions the stars never answered. But what if the silence wasn't absent? What if it was patience? Because somewhere between Mars and the infinite, a shadow crossed our vision. A blur we almost ignored. A whisper caught in 20 frames of dust and light. And then silence. Governments froze. Agencies locked their doors. 15,000 voices gone. And in that stillness, A truth began to form. Maybe we didn't find Atlas. Maybe Atlas found us. Every signal, every orbit, every anomaly felt less like chaos and more like choreography. A message written in motion. A design too vast to fit inside our equations. We wanted to believe discovery would feel like triumph. But what if it feels like being seen? Because when the numbers end and the data fades, one truth remains. We were never alone. And perhaps the greatest revelation isn't that something is out there, but that it's been watching, waiting, for the day we were ready to understand. October 3rd was not the beginning of a mystery. It was the moment the universe finally answered. And the question we now face is whether humanity will have the courage to listen,